Mr. Johansson. Mr. Zantuis, you'll need to
You
step
bet.
aside for
I will.
other
Excuse me.
speakers. Thank you. Mr. Johansson.
Madam Moderator, Carl Johansson. Madam Moderator, this article has nothing more than a nuisance objective because one individual or several cannot get along with the neighbors. Given that the sandwich bylaws presently in place for noise abatement should be sufficient enough to control unreasonable noise, why place further burden on an understaffed police department just to satisfy one person whom cannot get along with its neighbors? As written, any person can submit a complaint against another should the noise level be found be too loud. Who makes that determination in a legal matter? At one time, Sandwich employed a wire inspector to check all the electrical wires. Then it employed someone to take care of the town clock. We also employed an official counter of heroin. Times have passed where these jobs are no longer needed. Are we going to employ an official noise person who will go around the neighborhoods with a soundometer to evaluate who is violating this new proposed law? Anyone living next to a church could file a complaint about unreasonable noise when the bells ring or music is being played during services. Now, does that seem like a reasonable complaint to you? My flag is flapping in the breeze and it irritates my neighbor enough to file a complaint. My favorite bird, is making some noise in the wood outside, and a complaint is filed because I'm feeding it. What about the train that makes its journey through the Sandwich each day? Someone could file a complaint against the railroad about making too much noise when it's rolling down the tracks. Never mind when it blows the welcome whistle. Now, how about when a person that works the early morning shift needs to get to work, snowblower out to clean up the driveway at 3 in the morning to get to work on time? Another complaint can be filed as to violating this proposed noise bylaw. How about when the police or firemen need to sound their sirens at night while on an emergency call? This bylaw does not address these noises, so no one can assume that a complaint can't be filed against the very department that must now enforce this new regulation. Wait,
All right, hold your applause.
One can look around town, especially during an election, and see all those candidates that knowingly violate the present signed bylaws, yet receive no punishment. Hopefully, town meeting will not approve this article, as it does not fully justify in making a bylaw to satisfy one who moved into a neighborhood knowing the proximity of the house would generate sounds from wind chimes, bells, flagpoles, animal life, along with general maintenance sounds from building and repair projects, and children playing in the yard or the street. Never mind being close to a railroad bed in churches. Whatever we do, we have some sound, and everyone knows that sound will travel. But who gets to be the soundometer cannot be done with malice toward the neighbor, as this will only result in further discord. I understand that they do make earplugs, which are very helpful in abating noise, and I'm sure the neighbors would only be too glad to buy them a pair if they asked. Thank you very much.
Further discussion on Article 31. Mr. Augustine.
Richard Augustine, 9 Manor Drive. I've spoken at town meetings numerous times in the past, but it's never been personal until now. There are 2 reasons I do not support the petitioners in their efforts to change the town's current bylaws. The first one is not personal. The second one is. I've carefully read the April 23rd front page Sandwich Enterprise article outlining the dispute between the petitioners and their neighbors. I presume many of you here have also read that article. The petitioners' numerous complaints appear to center around the sound of wind chimes, soft playing music in the backyard, the sound of water emanating from a small water fountain, and the noise from our flag, Old Glory, flapping in the wind. We'll get to that later. First, I'm against changing any town bylaw to accommodate the few to the detriment of many. In this case, the problem is clearly not widespread. The petitioners do not have the right to silence at the expense of their neighbors' reasonable activities. The petitioners' neighbors have tried to accommodate them, but to no avail. In fact, one neighbor could well have charged the petitioner with illegal trespass for entering on his property and unilaterally moving the flag on 2 occasions.
Mr. Augustine, could I stop you for just 1 second? I want to address town meeting for a minute. This is a petition article, and while I understand that there is the nature of what brought this forward, we need to be careful to not make the discussion really personal. That is contrary to town meeting decorum and proper discussion. So I'd ask if we could try to speak to this article in general terms to be respectful of the process. I'd appreciate it.
Okay, let me get to the second part of this. The second reason is very personal and involves my right and your right to fly the nation's flag. The article said that petitioners find it annoying to hear Old Glory as it rustles in the breeze, and based upon their complaints and their actions in removing the neighbor's flag, it is apparent they intend to stop their neighbors from flying the flag if our bylaw is changed. I am personally offended that anyone would object to the beautiful sound of our flag waving in the breeze. I served my country for over 28 years in the military. That period covered Vietnam and Desert Storm. I fly the replica of the historical Bennington 1776 flag at my home every day in honor of my fallen comrades. I'm not going to forget them. I don't want to forget them. And in honor of the hundreds and thousands of American men and women who gave their lives to make and keep us free. I resent any effort or change in a bylaw to deny me or anyone else the right and privilege to fly our nation's flag. I earned that right. And I thank God we live in a country where we are not required to fly the flag, but we can do so if we so wish. One of our most sacred military rituals is the presentation of the flag that draped the coffins of those who gave their lives for us, for you and for me. That flag is given to their parents or spouses. Perhaps the petitioners would like to ask those fallen heroes if the sound of the flag annoys them, but then they can't hear the beautiful sound, can they? Or perhaps the petitioners would like to ask those parents or spouses if they would mind being denied the right and opportunity to fly the flag in honor of their loved ones because the sound of waving in the breeze is annoying. To those here at town meeting, I respectfully ask that you vote down this article and not to succumb to the petty complaints of the petitioners. I humbly ask you to protect my right, our collective right, to fly Old Glory in honor of those who died for us and to proudly display the flag as a symbol of our great country in which we live. I, for one, do not want to criminalize the behavior of flying the flag because it annoys someone. Thank you.
Further discussion on Article 31.